All right, here with head women's volleyball coach Angela Spoja. Coach, Sonoma twice this past week. We had them at home, got off to a hot start, and then it kind of just got in a rhythm there on Wednesday, and then you went down to their place. Unfortunately, kind of similar result there at Sonoma, but what did you take away from this past week? And that was kind of weird playing the same team twice in 1 week compared to like the rest of the year, but overall thoughts on this past week and kind of what practice week looks like this week, getting into it.
Yeah, I mean, playing someone twice in the week is actually good, I feel like, because you get to kind of know them a little bit better. I don't think our performance was any better against them at home, but also whenever you're traveling or facing people in their home gym, it's going to be harder than in your own gym. So you got to get those wins in your own gym when you can. We were fighting hard. I felt like we played hard. I don't think that, it went our way.
You've been talking most of the season is really focusing on building confidence in the team and working on errors. And I think at that home game, there was a lot more confidence on the court, and just kind of what's going into that.
I think as we're practicing things and we're actually doing them in a game, even if we're not successful, that's building confidence, right? Because they're like, oh, I'm trusting my training, I'm trusting what I'm learning every week. And now it's starting to flow for us, and I think that is super important. We have to keep reminding ourselves, though, that it takes 5 to 8 years to build a successful program, and since we are building that, even though all of us want these wins right away, we have to see like the things that we're doing better, and then calling them little wins. And there was some stuff in the game away at Sonoma. Some plays. I mean, we had a rally that was, I don't know, a minute and a half long or something, and we posted it on our TikTok. We had some great defensive plays, so I think like some of the things that we're doing now we weren't doing at the beginning of the season, and that is a little win for us.
And with Cal Poly Pomona later on this week, obviously some things will work out the kinks on, but it's kind of an opportunity for you guys to show yourselves off against one of the best teams in the conference. Is it an exciting opportunity for the team?
I think it's exciting. We're going in with the mindset that we just want to play cleaner, and we've been trying to have that mindset all season. Actually, we were just watching film and tallying up our unforced errors, or our compound unforced errors, which seem to be hurting us still. And so I think that our goal is to play hard and play every point, and to still work on those compound unforced errors and see if we can minimize those just a little bit.
And you're talking about the errors. I see that you guys lead the conference in errors right now according to the CCAA stats.
Yes, I'm sure we do.
Like you mentioned watching film, but in the film, what's the teaching process there? I guess I'm kind of curious.
So what we did this weekend's a little bit different than what we have been doing. Having a hard time getting through to them on this point. Volleyball is a game of errors, so you're gonna make unforced errors. The problem is that we're making them back to back, sometimes 3 or 4 times before we get a point. And so what we did today is we actually went through all the film and we tallied up all the compound unforced errors. Sometimes they're made by the same person, so the same person is costing us 4 points in a row after we've worked really hard to get 4 points. So we're going to kind of point that out and talk about what we could have done better in those moments, or maybe what we're thinking in those moments to help them process through that. And then at the end of the day, it's coaching coming up with a lineup of people that aren't going to do those things.
And I imagine it's tough that all these players, they come from their junior colleges or high schools, and they're elite players, and now they're here and they're going to have to learn how to gain confidence even while losing. How do you kind of illustrate that to people that maybe haven't had to deal with this adversity before?
We have quite a few of those on our team this year now, right? We have people that came from winning programs. I mean, a couple of them came from programs that were undefeated. So that is hard for them, and I know it is, and we've talked a lot about it. But I keep reminding them that they came in with open eyes. I did not sit here and tell everybody we're going to win, 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 win. I said we're trying to build. We're probably going to lose a lot in the next couple of years, but we are going to have some wins, and those wins will start to compound. And you might have been successful in your high school or even your junior college, but you haven't seen this level of competition. Once you see it, you got to figure out how to beat it. So, every single person that signed to come play here knew what they were getting into. It wasn't like we sold them a story that we were going to turn this around overnight. We know how long it takes. We were very, open about that. And just trying to keep, again, finding the small wins, right? Because with female athletes, if you're going to sit here and just go, you're not doing good, you're not doing good, you're not doing good, that's terrible, right? They're not going to respond to that. But hey, look at this play. This is what you did last week. This is what you did this week, and this is what we're trying to do. So just kind of pointing out that, the smaller, I guess, subtleties that, your eye might not catch, but coaches or players would be able to.
I got a couple more. And just, this hasn't been a perfect season for you guys, or nothing's ever perfect, but
right.
How do you maintain keeping them hungry and focused and looking to improve on the second half of this CCAA schedule?
Well, we have 4 games at home coming up. We've got a pretty rough trip this week. Our travel here is not easy. So we have 4 games coming up that are at home that I know that we can win. And I think we just got to keep looking forward. I don't think that our kids by any means have given up. They're still fighting every point. And so how do we keep them hungry? I think, again, talking about their legacy, even the seniors, what legacy are you leaving? We're building. So what legacy are we leaving? Are you a good teammate? Are you pumping people up? Are you coming every day with your effort? Because effort's not something we can train, right? You got to be here and you got to be in it. And I still think they are. And at any point, if I feel like they're not, that would be a conversation, but I don't feel that way.
Coach, I wanted to bring up kind of some individual performances that might have stood out to you as a coach, but one that stood out to me, especially this past week, is freshman middle blocker Riley Tuaola.
Mm-hmm.
She's been, killing it on the block. She had 10 block assists this past week. Her hitting percentage in the final game of Sonoma was in the 400s. What have you seen from her and her development as a freshman this year?
Riley started out a little slow for us just because she was trying to learn our system as a freshman. And we met probably a week or 2 into the season, and I said, just keep working, it's going to come. And I knew the light was switching on. And it was just getting her the reps to be to hit off of our setters and to kind of know what we were expecting and the pace of the game. And she has totally risen to the occasion. She's going to be a great player. She's just a freshman. We knew that when we signed her. Her athletic ability and just her quick reflexes and her jump and her high snap, she's going to be great for us. But the one thing that you all don't see that Riley does is Riley's the one holding people accountable right now. Riley is the first one to talk in a huddle. Riley is the one bringing people together. Riley is the one pushing people in the weight room. So she was a great addition to our team and is going to continue to contribute highly at a high level, for the next 4 years.
And I'm always curious about the travel schedule. You guys have, it's going to be 2 games within 48 hours of each other, Friday, Saturday, or within 24 hours of each other. Holy moly!
Yeah.
What's the travel process like for you guys?
Yeah. Do you want to know? I would like to change that. I am not happy with this process at all. I tried to come in as a newbie last year and change how we play games. Nobody else does this. We should be playing on a Thursday and a Saturday. That's a whole other conversation we can talk about. But for us, that's absolutely terrible. And again, nobody else has to do that, right? We have to get on a plane, and then we have to play a match, and then we have to drive sometimes 3 to 4 hours, depending on traffic, to our next destination and get up and play right again. I don't think that athletes respond to that at all, and I think that it puts us at a deficit. I hate to say that we can't just wake up and pop out of bed and be winners, but we're not built like that. And I don't like to give excuses, but that's a hard schedule. And we've been dealing, now I'm in my 2nd year of it, and it's taxing on the coaches. So I really do think the CCAA needs to be better at making it equitable for everybody. And I think that is a conversation that we are going to definitely have again and hopefully take to the executive committee.
And I'm not trying to derail this, but what is the process? I have no idea how the schedules are chosen like this. How has it ended up kind of the way it is?
The process was made long before I was here, so I had that same question. But basically, what they say is it's a random draw on who you play every year and how it kind of goes. And I was reading it today, actually, this morning, because I was talking with our administration about it. And then anything over 200 miles of travel, so in a car, would have to be played with a day in between. Now, this is interesting though, because even though San Marcos is only 93 miles or whatever from CPP, we all know that it could be a 4-hour drive because of traffic, right? So I think that the rule is archaic and it needs to be changed, and it shouldn't be based on the mileage. Our kids have been playing this sport since they were 9 years old. We're not like, their bodies are being like hitting the ground all the time from 9 years old all the way till now. We need that day in between. It's not good for the athletes to play back to back.
And like you mentioned, it's difficult on the coaches.
Yeah.
Just game planning. I'm sorry, this is the last question I'll ask you guys. But the struggles of game planning with only a few hours in between these matches.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's exactly what you would think it would be. Okay, we get to the hotel at between 9 and midnight. Us coaches stay up and watch the game that had just played that we're gonna have to play the next day. Then we get in the morning, we get the kids up, we get them breakfast, and then we feed them our game plan based on what we saw the night before. It puts us, because we're so far north, at a deficit that is like below anybody else. So, yeah, it's definitely not equitable. We can, again, go on and on about that, but.
And it's just you and Chico or you guys in Chico that are even north, right? Everyone else is kind of at least Central California.
Yeah, kind of. I guess Sonoma would be in that mix a little bit, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's,
San Marcos is further, south, so people have to get down there to play them. So they do have to do the travel too, but it's not like our travel, because they're within an hour of the next school or 2 hours within 4 schools, right?
That's probably just one weekend where they go up and play both in Arcata and Chico, I'm assuming.
Sonoma and us.
Oh, okay.
And then Chico and Stan, because they're closer in proximity. Yeah.
You guys got anything else?
cool. No, just good luck this week at East Bay and Pomona and San Marcos, and look forward to talking to you next week, Coach.
Great. Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.